Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by St. Elizabeth Healthcare and the Young Family Cancer Center, a regional leader in cancer care. By your Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Toyota dealers. For all Toyota offers, go to toyota.com. By O'Connor, Achani, and Levy, attorneys you know, attorneys you trust. And by Gilkey Windows. Elevate your home with the elegance and durability of Gilkey Windows. Explore more at gilkey.com.
2-1 games and 1-0 shutout wins. Those feel like a thing of the past.
That is correct. A no-doubter to right. Gone! Reds win!
A little bit different team offensively now than when we started.
They're getting contributions from just about everyone.
He's on fire! 4 homers in 3 games. In his Reds debut, Bleday ties it. The Reds have hit 10 home runs this weekend.
It was a record-setting amount of home runs in a 3-game set at Great American Ballpark, as John said, 10 of which by the Reds, as they took 2 out of 3. And this was something that was missing from last year's team, the ability to turn games around with one swing of the bat. They've showed the propensity to do that this season. Now, while they're playing with a lot of confidence, you look for confidence series to series. And the Colorado Rockies coming into town, these numbers should give you a little confidence. 11-2 versus the Rockies the last 2 seasons. That's the best record versus any team. But as the gentleman documented in the open, little different Rockies team this year. But if you break it down even further individually, career OPS versus Colorado, that's on base plus slugging. Highest versus any team. Rhys Hines 1688, De La Cruz 1146, Stevenson over 1100, Steer 926, Lowe 952 OPS. So you've got guys in that lineup that have not only had team success but individual success at the plate. It's the first of 3, Reds and Rocks. Up next, John Sadak and the Hall of Famer Barry Larkin with all the play-by-play action.
We know Spencer Steer takes the field back where it all began. He broke into the bigs against the Rockies at Great American Ballpark. Had a double and a home run in that game. Joey Votto called the play-by-play of Steer's home run in his major league debut. He is one of many Reds that have had success lifetime against the Rockies. Reds trying to make it 5 straight series wins with this set. On the mound, the best starting ERA on the Reds belongs to Chase Burns.
And that says a lot about Chase Burns, and he has really been pitching well last time out. He got the win down in Tampa, 5 2/3, 8 punch-outs. Did have a couple of walks. His numbers on the season has been outstanding. This is a team that is very aggressive. So let's see how Chase Burns, having that understanding, attacks these hitters.
Now, Burns does walk lefties at a fairly high rate. That's the one thing that hitters have done of note against Burns this year. Loaded with lefties, the Rockies lineup. That's not just by design tonight. That's most evenings, including leadoff man Edward Julian. Reds have won 7 of 9. Rockies have won 3 straight, just swept the Mets, and 6 of 9. Now, Julian, the leadoff man, is a rarity among the Rockies. He'll take pitches. So will Kyle Karros. But most of the other bats are hunting not just first pitches, almost every pitch. And much like the Reds, this is an improved team. The Reds are visibly deeper and better. If you watch the Reds regularly, you've seen that in just about every phase. It's a similar plus advantage for Colorado. Check swing. Did he go? No. But consider it was full Drake. I mean, they had lost 119 games last year, the 3rd most losses in the modern era, going back to 1901.
Yeah, there wasn't much of a choice. You had to be better, because that was just a abysmal season, 119 losses.
Warren Schaefer was named the interim manager when Bud Black was let go in May. Lost that interim tag in November. 2-2. in the dirt, full count. So they are fresh off of their third series win this year when they swept the Mets. It took until after the All-Star break, the 19th of July, to get their third series win last season. They also recently split with the Dodgers. Payoff. And that's what does happen with Burns. So he's now issued 12 walks on his year, 11 to left-handed hitters, and Julian is on.
Well, after that last fastball up, we saw a few sliders down. So I think Chase Burns understands the success he's had. It's just a matter of him landing that slider. Couldn't do it in that first at bat.
Arguably the Rockies' hottest and most dangerous hitter is Mickey Moniak. Pickoff toss. Remember, Burns has a brilliant pickoff move but hasn't yet picked a man off in the bigs. Moniak has hits in 11 straight. Leads the team with 8 home runs. It's the best beginning of his big league career. He stands with the 4th best slugging percentage in the game. That's what he's done on his hitting streak. It's not just a base hit a ball game. Smothered by Stevenson, but another miss for Burns.
Yeah, with that slider down. And speaking of Moniak, remember this in 2016, this guy was the #1 overall pick. So there was high expectations, and Chase Burns, you can see, just even with that first hitter, not capable of finding that slider. There's a good one.
Strike 1. Doug Bernier in the year of Julian running at first. Reds angled the defense to pull. Moniak slices through another slider. They strike out a lot. They chase a lot. That means swings at pitches that are out of the zone. Moniak called time. Burns waiting on him to get back in the box. 2-2. Foul tip struck him out. 100 on the heater.
Little bit of pitching backwards, going with the off-speed pitches early. He found that slider after spiking a few. Then, of course, we all know what Chase Burns brings. The heat.
Now the talented Hunter Goodman, an all-star, the Silver Slugger at catcher last year. Healthy cut at a slider. He's among the more aggressive swingers. Thundered 31 homers last year, the most by a Rockies catcher ever, and the first 30 home run season by a National League catcher in over 2 decades. Javi Lopez in 2003. Swing and a miss. At this point, the bait's on the hook, and you're just waiting for the tug of the fish.
Wow. We saw early that Chase Burns did not quite have a feel for that slider. Strikeout of Moniak, and these first 2 pitches here to Goodman. Pretty good.
The full Larry David. Check swing seemed to go. Yes, no appeal. Strike 3. And Goodman's not happy. He wanted appeal. Now remember, he is the Rockies catcher, so he's probably going to be asking for the same when he's receiving Kyle Freeland.
Yeah, I don't think it was on the pitch. I think it was on the swing.
No, that's what I mean, though. He's going to be saying you should be calling that at the plate, and I don't even need to appeal. TJ Rumfield, who's been traded a couple of times, broke into the bigs with the Rockies. Pickoff gets away. It was a plunge into the bag by Julian, who still can jog to second. Matt McLean gathers. He won on the pickoff toss.
See that basically that throw is behind the runner. Sal Stewart has to go through that runner to get the ball. No chance.
Many of the regular bats in this Rockies order have been poached from other organizations in some way. That includes the trade acquisition of Rumfield, who hit 5 home runs, 13 ribbies in the spring, had the fewest strikeouts in the spring of any regular major league hitter. That includes Florida and Arizona, part of how he made the ball club as a rookie. Broke in as the starting first baseman. He's the DH today. Rockies did not have a rookie start at a position in 10 years. It was Trevor Story in 2016, the last Rockies rook to do so. Time called by Rumfield. Burns, who lives at 100 on the radar gun, is at 99 career strikeouts, on the verge of an early milestone. Oh, 2 down.
Strikeout 100 with a 100-mile-an-hour heater. Apropos.
Look out, Reds dugout. He reached double-digit strikeouts for the first time in the big leagues against the Rockies when he saw them 11th of July last year. 1-2. Swing and a miss. The century mark for Chase Burns.
Chase Burns dominating. Welcome to the Century Club, young man.
Elizabeth.com/Reds.
The Reds offense has been humming. They're 9 tonight from St. Elizabeth Healthcare. Lefty starter on the hill. Dane Myers, another nod in the leadoff spot. McLean, De La Cruz, Stewart. Dynamic duo there, 3 and 4 for Tito Francona. Steer and low. The lefty has handled tonight's starter pretty well. Stevenson, Hines, and Hayes. Reds facing the Rockies' opening day arm, but his first game action in 3 weeks just off the IL. It's Kyle Freeland.
Little shoulder inflammation. The lefty, 32-year-old veteran. 10 years with these Rockies.
Myers shows bunt, pulls it back, takes ball 1. For Myers, his 4th time leading off this year, his 3rd in 6 games. When he leads off, getting on base at a .500 rate. Half dozen runs scored. Now, the Reds have been rocking 6.5 runs a game in their last 8. It's the 2nd best run scoring offense in that time in the majors. And Lark, Kyle Freeland is a fine start to his year, a sub 2.5 ERA. But I feel like he profiles as a good matchup for this Reds lineup.
Well, he's not an overpowering pitcher. And the way that these guys have been swinging the bat, I think anybody you throw out there right now profiles well for this offense.
Also wonder how long he might go. You can see his ERA, the worst against any National League team against the Reds. And he walks Myers. You know, coming off of an injury, he had simulated action of 41 pitches Wednesday. He threw a bullpen Sunday. I cannot imagine he's going much beyond 75 pitches on the game.
Anytime you got a guy coming back from the injured list and he walks the first guy, look for the heater.
Matt McLean, cutter strike. Now McLean's been coming on. Ribby double and a walk Sunday. He has hit in 6 of 7. Of his 8 extra base hits this year, 5 have come in that week-long span. Oh, 2.
That's a good pitch for Kyle Freeland. For any lefty against these right-handed hitters, get them thinking about that fastball inside. You saw the cutter first, now inside fastball.
Somehow Myers back in. The ball lost by Troy Johnston.
Yeah, Johnston just dropped the ball. He holds on to this ball. Myers is dead to rights. You can see him slip right there.
Oh, 2 up and away. Now Freeland is willing to throw in. He's hit 4 batters this year. He hasn't pitched in 3 weeks, and he has the 2nd most hit batsman in the National League. His primary pitches are that 4-seamer and the knuckle curve. They are getting hit. 1-2. Bounce, just foul. That was the knuckle curve. The 4-seamer and the knuckle curve this year are getting hit at a 296 rate combined. Everything else, the sweeper, the cutter, the change, the sinker, a combined 156. But the fastball is the primary pitch, and it's not just this year. In the last 3 years, the league is hitting .334 against his primary fastball. 18 homers on that pitch alone.
Well, you give that information and the fact that he's hit so many hitters, I think he understands. He's going to have to get that fastball in.
1-2. His last time on the mound, April 7th against Houston, it was 1 run and 6 1/3. A solo shot by Christian Walker. 1-2. To second base from his knee. Julian play at first. Myers up to second. Julian, by defensive metrics, is the liability for the Rockies.
Well, there was no liability on this ball right here with Julian. You could see him come up right away and think about throwing to first base. I actually think he had an opportunity to throw that ball to second base. But nonetheless, it was a good play.
Ellie De La Cruz, who has clobbered Colorado, .424 lifetime against the Rockies. He has his highest average and highest on base against Colorado versus any other team in the majors. He also has turned things around when he's been turned around. Far stronger right side this year. This ball chipped to right. No man's land. Yes! It eludes the glove of Johnston. Myers rounds third and scores. It bloops in for De La Cruz, and the Reds grab a 1-0 lead. Base hit in the box score.
See that ball in on the hands of Ellie De La Cruz, but this ball just perfectly placed and a really good read at second base by Dane Myers. He probably scores regardless because of this collision right here, but a good job of base running.
Now, many Reds have established success lifetime against Freeland. But if I'm scouting any Red that I think could shape up really well against Freeland, how about the league leader in RBI, Sal Stewart?
Yep.
Oh, 1. Contained by Goodman.
Talking about Dane Myers at second base. Got to make sure you can get back to the bag in case that ball is caught. He does a nice job of inching off that bag until he sees it down. Scores easily.
Popped up into the seats, out of play. Now Myers filling in that leadoff spot. There is no announced platoon, but we've seen Myers get the nod more often of late with lefties on the mound. And it's been working pretty well.
Well, you talked about his getting on base 50% of the time. That's what you have to have at the top. He and TJ Friedl have been really good.
And Stewart pops it right side. Julian to Johnston. Julian takes command. Rockies defense below average arm from McCarthy, who has great wheels in left. Moniak. Tyler Freeman has a very good arm in right. Karros, Tovar, Julian, Johnston, and Goodman. Karros was the third baseman at UCLA in 2021 when the shortstop was Matt McLean. They started just about every game left side for the Bruins that year. Spencer Steer started at third base in his big league debut. That came against the Rockies in 22. Delayed steal, thrown out. Julian was late to cover, and De La Cruz is safe.
Yeah, that little delayed steal is causing problems defensively. Looks like Julian just doesn't see him, can't get to the bag in time.
It's now 7 steals and 9 tries for De La Cruz. He has retied Sal Stewart for the team lead in swipes.
As a middle infielder, you have to be able to get to that bag under control. And because he was late and on the move, he's not able. I think the throw beats Ellie there, but he's not able to apply the tag because he's on the move.
So that means scoring position. Reds getting a lead is a big deal. They are a baseball best 12-1 when they score first. Big lead for De La Cruz. Down and in. Now Steer lifetime against the Rockies, .310. His 14 ribbies against Colorado, tied for the most he's had against any team not in the National League Central. That includes double homer in his debut. Down and in. He also walked twice in that debut. The Reds have had the Rockies' number several years running. They have won 14 of the last 16 head-to-head matchups. Driven in left center. Spencer Steer slugs again. Deep in that lower bowl, is 5th of the year, and it's a 3 spot for the Reds in the opening inning.
Well, John, you talked about Kyle Freeland and liking the throw in the heater and how that matchup sits with this team, the way that they've been swinging the bats. That was a fastball, pretty much center cut. Spencer Steer, 102 off the bat. Big time fly.
Statcast says 411 feet. Now Nate Lowe getting a 5th straight start. Eugenio Suarez on the IL. That means more playing time for Lowe. And often lefty-lefty, you would think sit Lowe. But Lowe is 2 for 3 against Freeland with a walk and has hit the Rockies' lifetime incredibly well. Over the course of his last 5 starts, how about 333? Had 4 homers in 3 games over the weekend. Fouled back. Down and away. So Lowe has gone deep in 3 straight games. Had 2, including the walk-off winner Friday against the Tigers. He has not in his career yet homered in 4 consecutive contests. Fought foul. Two again. Topped foul. And we mentioned Lowe getting more playing time with Suarez sidelined for now. MRI to come to check on the oblique for Gino. The Eugenio Suarez episode of the Jim Day podcast dropped yesterday. And Jimmy, you just recorded one with Nate Lowe.
I did, and to say that he is a great talker is an understatement. We look down and like, we're over an hour here. He was fantastic.
Be on the lookout for that episode coming soon. That's away. Now you might notice that he is growing a mustache. Spencer Steer has been sporting one. TJ Friedel has one coming in. It's in advance of Mustache May. Many on the club are starting to sport it. Maybe a little bit of a power stash for some of these men too. Nub to third. Karros on the run, got him.
Well, this weekend the boomsticks were out. It looks like they'll come out at the start of this week. Spencer Steer with the 2-run bomb.
At Big.
The Reds have struck first again. Opening innings, kind to the Reds. 25 runs in first frames this year. Tied for the second most in the majors.
Strike early and strike often.
Strike one to Tyler Freeman. Some rhythm there, Lark.
It's nice, John.
3 straight strikeouts for Chase Burns. You did rather famously write the greatest rap opus in Reds history. Isn't that true?
Well,
Reds Hot, right?
yeah, Red's Hot was good, but I cannot take my boy Gooch. My boy Gooch put it down. I know he's listening.
No relation to
No.
the Gooch from Different Strokes,
Not that
right?
Gooch.
Okay.
No.
Well, I don't believe was ever seen on camera.
Errol Gibson is his name, actually. I call him Gooch. It's my boy.
He didn't beat up Arnold then.
That's no.
2-1 is grounded left side through the hole. A soft rolling hit. Yeah, something we were talking before the game with Sam LeCure when he was up in the booth. You know, Burns is a high velocity, strikeout, violent stuff guy, but he does get a lot of ground balls, and you have a theory as to why that happens.
Yeah, I think because he's so tall, and when he throws the ball downhill. Now, he does throw that high fastball, and it stays somewhat on plane. But when he's playing the ball downhill, as a hitter, you have a tendency to see the top side of that baseball and strike it, which would make you hit the ball on the ground.
Troy Johnston, 1-pitch fly ball out.
So I believe that's why he gets so many ground balls, is because he's tall and he's downhill and hitters can't get underneath it.
Well, now Kyle Karros, who is the son of longtime Dodger Eric Karros. Pops was Rookie of the Year in '92. Down and away, lost by Stevenson, but Freeman has to hold. Now Kyle Karros, in a lineup that's filled with a lot of aggressive swingers, is one of the more patient bats. Works a lot of full counts. Sees about 4.5 pitches per plate appearance. That's top 5 in the game. And he takes strike one. Almost a third of his plate appearances go to full count. That's the most in the majors. Runner fakes. 1-1 is chopped. De La Cruz makes the play. It eluded Hayes' glove, and De La Cruz backing him up. Stayed with it. The deep backhand pick and across his body to cut down Karros.
That is outstanding. Wow. Look at the range on this. First of all, you got to avoid the third baseman, and then running towards third base, throws across his body using all 6'5", 6'6" wingspan, and easily getting Karros at first base. That's outstanding.
Degree of difficulty? 10?
I say a 9. I say a 9. Only a 10 if he lost his footing.
Ezekiel Tovar pitched down and away. Key Brian Hayes showing respect to De La Cruz.
He probably say, yeah, I could have cocked that ball if I really wanted to.
And Jim, that goes back to a story that you've shared, the competition those two have had with each other.
Yeah, started in spring training on a daily basis. Ellie would take him on for who would make the fewest mistakes, and if someone made a great play like that, they just won the day. So just mark the W down for Ellie already.
Yes, indeed.
Unless Key Bryant's got something in store later this game, the W goes to 4-4.
Freeman off second. Tovar having a down year offensively. Sends this ball to center. Myers over. Another man stranded by Burns. Dynamite defense from Ellie De La Cruz. A crazy pick and throw. In tonight's Toyota Tundra Home Run Challenge, Joe Ryan from Reading, Ohio will win a brand new built in the USA Tundra if a red hits the Toyota hit and win sign. Register for your chance at any Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer. Tyler Stevenson among the Reds who have homered all Freeland lifetime. Lays off a fastball up. Now, Stevenson has clubbed the Rockies well in his career. This year as a Red, he's walking. Walks are up. Strikeouts are still high. The contact number is certainly not where he would like it. Contact's gone down of late. He's 1 for his last 15, but he's regularly hitting the ball really hard. When does that turn into hits? One of the better looking knuckle curves called a ball. You could see the hiccup in Hunter Goodman before throwing the ball back, and Kyle Freeland's body language, I think he wanted that pitch. Goodman is very good at ABS challenge, at least as a catcher. That sailed to right center. Moniak on the track. Long fly ball out. It's another ball drilled. It's 101 off the bat, and they're just not quite going or dropping.
Well, it's 372 feet too, so you hit that ball down the left or right field line, it's a home run. Can't guide it. All you can do is hit it hard. Keep it hitting hard, Steve-O.
Rhys Hines, who broke into the bigs against the Rockies July of 2024. He homered in his Reds debut, part of a pretty gargantuan first week. Hit 500 in that 3-game series against the Rockies. But that has reared its head again for Hines, who has struck out 14 times in this latest big league go-round. He has walked once. Does have hits in 4 of 5 games played. Freeland had to throw 31 pitches in the first inning. 9 came to Nate Lowe for that final out. He fouled off 4 pitches. And when you figure Freeland pitching for the first time in 3 weeks, had a 41 pitch simulated action on Wednesday and just a bullpen Sunday, that could be a short leash on his night if the Reds can drive up that pitch count again. Swing and a miss. Like tonight against Freeland, I can't imagine that he'll see fastballs in the zone.
Tonight against Freeland, and in the future against anyone, until he shows the ability to either lay off or make contact with anything with a wrinkle, there's no reason for a big league hit pitcher to throw him a fastball.
Now this is a good matchup for Ke'Bryan Hayes. He's 4 for 10 lifetime against Freeland, and he's been coming on. Hits in 4 of 5, double, triple homer in that time. This last week has been the best offensive week of Hayes' season.
As far as the results, I feel like he's really hit the ball hard pretty much all year. Just really had nothing to show for it those first few weeks and first few series. And it was certainly frustrating, but he stayed with it. It is incredibly frustrating when you hit the ball hard and you have nothing to show for it. I know last year he hit the ball on the ground a lot. They wanted him to get the ball in the air. He has hit the ball in the air. Still, when you hit the ball in the air and you hit it hard and you have nothing to show for it, incredibly frustrating.
2-2. Backdoor, strike 3. A 1-2-3 inning against the bottom third for Kyle Freeland.
Spring coming off of Hall of Fame weekend in the gala on Sunday night, the Reds team attended, and it was extra special for Ke'Bryan Hayes because he personally sought out Brandon Phillips. His connection with Dusty Baker and his father as a kid, when Dusty managed teams, he would let a young Ke'Bryan in the clubhouse. He first met Brandon Phillips along with Chapman and Votto, and Ke'Bryan told me that Phillips was one of the players that he idolized growing up. Defense, obviously, and he said Brandon had a saying. At one point, Phillips had red inside of his glove, and Brandon would say, "If you see red, you're out." And he remembered that to this day. I'm not sure what the color of the inside of Ke'Bryan's glove is. Let's just say tan. If you see tan inside, you're out. A little gray in there.
That is terrific. Thank you, Jim. And what a fun Hall of Fame weekend it was, too. To see you and the other Hall of Famers in your red jackets welcome a quartet of new members.
Yeah, it was a good time. Who you did not see up on the stage were the Nasty Boys. The Nasty Boys were there. You got to get those guys in the Hall of Fame as well. They are certainly part of the history. Huge part of the history of this organization.
They should go in together.
They do everything together.
Yeah, I mean that should be a trio.
They do everything together.
Yeah. I mean, it was a big night. I mean, we got Myers to put a jacket on, even though it was camo.
Down it in.
Always nice to see all those guys.
And they were all out there as Lou Piniella, your skipper.
Yeah.
That 1990 team was the last man to speak on the night. Was deeply and in touching fashion emotional, appreciative.
All those guys were touched. Reggie Sanders looks like he can still play.
Very much. He's got some style too.
Oh yeah, clean.
Yeah.
George Foster saw Reggie, and when Reggie walked on the field, he had one word: clean.
Clean strikeout there as Burns gets Jake McCarthy.
Get ready, because here it comes. That elevated fastball at the top of the zone. Good finish, good ride, good night.
Top of the order again, Julian. Worked a full count, walked his first time, hunting first pitch, but second time through, it's a first pitch slider. That was one of the other talking points for us in advance of the game. The Rockies are incredibly aggressive swinging period, particularly on first pitch. They chase a lot. Do you lean into that? Do you throw secondary stuff and out of the zone? Or do you stay true to you and begin at least with mostly first pitch fastball? That one is clobbered to right center. Second home run of the year for Julian. And that's where the few runs that have come against Burns have come. He's now allowed 9 runs on the year, and 7 of them have come on homers, 3 solo shots.
You know, John, we saw this early in the career of Hunter Green. Any fastball pitcher who throws a fastball on a fastball count that throws close to 100 miles an hour, if the ball's squared up, it is going to go out the ballpark. Now, this was a hanging slider, but the ball up in the zone is going to be impacted if it's out over the plate and you get timed up. And a 1-run home run will not beat you. Not when you got 3 on the board.
Check swing. No go.
Yep. Got beat with my secondary stuff. He kicked the mound, but he said, I'm kicking myself right here.
Nasty one there. Gets a strike on Moniak. Just the second homer he's allowed on that slider all season. Moniak struck out swinging his first time. Swing and a miss. 5 strikeouts for Burns.
A little extra mustard on this one. This is a fastball. Look at the finish. And the bark after the pitch, after the strikeout.
Hunter Goodman has also struck out tonight. By the way, if you notice the celebratory garb that Julian had on, yes, the Rockies have introduced a Rockies purple. It is fake fur coat. There's no natural purple fur that they put on anytime they go deep, which, considering how cold it can be often when we visit Colorado, feels fitting. No, Joel, grimace is not natural. In full effect. Now I can hear the very twangy 70s guitar in the background right now.
I was going to ask you, do we have any pictures of Joel going to prom his senior year? Because I could have sworn that jacket, I know I've seen that before. Joel.
You're both men of Moeller, so I mean it is possible.
Hey, it's documented.
I can only imagine the strut he would have while it's on too. 1-2 up and in.
I love when Joel blushes over there.
But now that the music is different and he's not boogieing anymore, you know, we have to find new ways to integrate it. 2-2. Struck him out. 3 Ks in the inning. Rockies do tag him with a homer. Julian gets Colorado on the board, but Burns still cooking. Join the Reds for Star Wars Night, Saturday, May 9th. The ballpark will transform into a galaxy far, far away. And fans in attendance will receive a Grogu bobblehead, thanks to Tri-Health, while supplies last. Visit reds.com/tickets. (3-1) Reds have the lead. It's 3-2-1 Tuesday. Crowd a little later arriving, but getting into it. Dane Myers walked and scored his first time. First time through, 3 Reds reached. All came around. Upstairs strike. So the Reds have now hit 38 homers. 11 have come during the course of this homestand. It's 3 games played plus tonight's in progress. And it's not even hot, but the power is starting to pop for these Reds. Myers bounces a foul. Now, Jim Dane Myers tells you that he's a. Oh, sorry. Jim is otherwise occupied. He's on other duties. He'll be with the Hall of Famer in a little bit. That is lined over second base hit. He keeps on getting on, filling in the leadoff spot. Aboard twice in as many plate appearances.
Yeah, Dane Myers has really shown the ability just to cover the plate. You see Kyle Freeland kind of throw his hands up in frustration after this ball is hit, because this was a really good pitch. This might have been changeup off the plate. Great hitting, great plate discipline. man, that's supposed to be a ground ball.
Badly missed by Freeland. And McLean grounded out to second his first time. Myers was picked off his first time at first base, but Troy Johnston dropped the pickoff throw. He goes. Good jump. Pitch called a strike. Throw down is late. Myers swipes second.
You say good jump. I say great jump. As soon as Freeland picks up, Dana Dane is on his horse.
That's Myers' second steal as a Red. His first came against his former club, the Marlins, down in Miami. And another bad miss down and in. McLean went yard twice in that crazy comeback Friday night against the Tigers. Three and one. And all year, even when the contact was slider and the power wasn't as significant, he's been walking. He's not been chasing. That soft away right on right is largely taken this year. Reds began the year with great struggles hitting with men in scoring position. They're 2 for 2 tonight. They got the leadoff man in scoring position. Nobody out. That's sharply sent to short. Good backhand by Tovar. Hard ground ball out. Now Ellie De La Cruz, who right-handed is just different. Our Kia player profile, OPS over 1,300 this year. So keep in mind, a good OPS, if you get to 800 plus, you're pretty good. You get to 900, you are top of the charts. You're at 1,300. That is epic.
And I think it's been reported, but Ellie asked this entire spring training to really be challenged by facing left-handed pitching.
Up the middle into center field, base hit. Myers giving the wave. Another knock for De La Cruz. He's 2 for 2 with a couple of ribbies. It is 4-1 Reds.
He wanted an opportunity because he knew last year he kind of struggled against left-handed pitching. He's been swinging it well. He's super confident on the right side. He almost knocked Freeland down. He fell down trying to field that ball, but that was a bullet. 104 off the bat.
Hardest hit ball by a Red so far. Stewart loses the helmet on that swing. Strike one. De La Cruz stole second the last time he got on. Delayed steal tied him for the team lead with Stewart. That is smashed over third, but foul. Look out, Balkin. Hurdled that padded wall and it just missed his raised leg. That was smoked. Now Stewart and De La Cruz co-lead the Reds in steals and in homers. Each has 9 that have left the yard. De La Cruz goes, swing and a miss. Stewart strikes out, but De La Cruz steals second base.
Another good jump by Ellie. He gets going in a hurry.
Now Spencer Steer, 2-run homer his last time. He has taken Freeland deep 3 times now in his career. Tonight also marks the 2nd time De La Cruz has multiple steals in a game this season. Took 2 against the Angels a couple of weeks ago. Up the middle. Handled by Julian. Reds get another run. Myers gets on. De La Cruz drives him home.
Reds over the Rockies at Great American Ballpark. Jim Day with you. I am standing next to greatness. Hall of Famer Joe Torre in town tonight. Honorary captain tonight, but you're here for other reasons, much more important reasons. And you make many pilgrimages to Cincinnati. His wife Allie from Cincinnati, so you're very familiar with the Queen City. But you're here representing again Safe at Home, the foundation that you and your wife started in 2002 to end the cycle of domestic violence through education. And how good does it feel that you're able to affect thousands of youngsters in that way? And how do you do it?
Well, Jim, you know, I'm the youngest of 5 children in my home, and my dad was abusive to my mom. And I was a nervous kid. I had really low self-esteem, and I thought what was going on in my house was my fault, and I was the only one dealing with it. Never shared it with any of my friends. And it really wasn't until actually my middle 50s that, and it was right here in Cincinnati, went to a symposium called Life Success, when Allie, my wife, said, how about going here with me? And she was 8 months pregnant. I wasn't about to say no to anything she asked me to do. And I found out in those 4 days that, I wasn't born with the low self-esteem and the nervousness. It was something my dad caused by being, as abusive as he was in the home. And so when we got to New York, Allie asked me what charity should we get involved with. I said, how about domestic violence? And it was her idea to do it through education. And, we reach like 30,000 kids every year, and we know it works.
It's awesome that you reach so many. And one of the cooler things, I think, you have Safe at Home's Margaret's Place, which is in honor of your mom. And it's a safe place in schools, correct, for kids?
Yeah, what it is. And as I mentioned earlier, I never talked about it. I was embarrassed about it. I thought I was born with this nervousness and felt guilty about stuff. And you go into these Margaret's Place, which is a safe room. We have a master's level counselor. We don't force the kids to talk about anything. There are games to play. There are books to read. And all of a sudden you find that the conversation starts between the kids. Yeah. And they realize what say I'm going through, they're going through. So you're finding out that it's not your fault and you're not alone. Yeah. And it's the greatest thing we could have ever done, because we know it works. And, even though these kids don't share our same last name, it's still a responsibility we have for our youth.
And I think a key phrase there is you're not alone. And I guarantee you there are those that are watching this broadcast right now, whether it be youngsters or adults like you said, that you can affect. How can people get involved and learn more?
Well, they go to safeathome.org, and it'll give you all the nuts and bolts on what we do. We have a program here at, Riverview East, Spencer, and we've been here 10 years, and we know it works, as I say. And the thing is, we need money to keep the programs going year in and year out. But if you go to safeathome.org, you'll get all the information.
That's terrific. In that school that you mentioned, 100 kids are at the game free here tonight. So kudos to that. I've got to ask you a baseball question, because before the game I saw you get reunited with Tito Francona. Many wars through the years. What was that like then, and what's it like now between you two?
Well, let me tell you, it started with his dad and I played with each other, played with the Atlanta Braves back in the 60s. And Terry and I love him. I think we have a mutual respect for each other. but you know, we'd go to war every 6 weeks or so when he was managing the Red Sox and I was doing the Yankees. Yeah, and we'd call each other, after a series. He said, well, we're glad this crap is over for another 6 weeks. But I'm thrilled that he came back and is in uniform because he looks good. He loves being here. And, Cincinnati's a special place. And again, I have to thank you for allowing, us to have a conversation. And, of course, the Cincinnati Reds for supplying the tickets for these kids.
Absolutely, Joe. I'm glad you were able to reunite with Tito. That was, if you're a baseball fan, man, those Red Sox-Yankees series back then were just off the charts. So congratulations to everything you do. It's great to see you. You're looking great.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate it.
That is Joe Torre, Hall of Famer, back up to the booth.
Well, thank you, Jim, and kind thanks to one of the game's legends in Joe Torre.
Hall of Famer on and off the field.
Kyle Karros with T.J. Rumfield at third base. Karros was robbed by De La Cruz on that crazy backhand play in the second. Burns has been brilliant with men on base this year. League barely over 180 against him. He has only surrendered entering tonight 4 hits with a man on base. By total hits, only 3 men in the show that have given up fewer. Inning began with a double by Rumfield. 1-2 to Karros. No go. Burns isn't used to run support. Before the barrage that he enjoyed his last time out against the Rays, he had never seen more than 2 runs scored by the Reds while he was on the mound. They have given him 4 and counting tonight. Time for the batter, Karros. Hayes plays deep and stretches his throwing arm at third. Payoff is landed. Strike 3. 8 Ks for Burns. Nathaniel Lowe providing power over the weekend. He entered the set with no homers. He launched 2 on Friday night, including the walk-off winner. On Saturday, part of a back-to-back barrage with Sal Stewart. And then Sunday, some of the runs for the Reds launched by Lowe. 3 straight with a homer, tying a career high. First pitch here is popped up. Johnston in foul ground. That's now 61 pitches for Kyle Freeland, who is coming off a longer absence due to shoulder inflammation, and they do have Tanner Gordon now warming in the pen. I would almost treat it like, coming out of spring, but an abbreviated one. That ceiling is likely somewhere in the 70 to 80 pitch range. Nothing formally announced by the Rockies, but he is their opening day man. Had that honor for the 5th time in his big league career. Tyler Stevenson has flied out so far today. Hit the ball hard, nearly to the wall in deep right center. Two-0. Big reason why the Rockies have won more than they've lost in their last 9. What the rotation has done. The last turn plus ERA just over 1.5 in the last 6 games for Rockies starters. Was sent to right center. But the Reds have gotten to Freeland some. And hopefully that means they can get more innings and pitches out of a talented Rockies bullpen. You're looking at the strongest strength of a better and improved Rockies team. It's probably that pen. Rhys Hines has struck out so far today. When Hines returned to the bigs, part of the idea was regular reps. In defense of Hines, this is his second start in a week. But that's part of the reality of playing Major League Baseball. The Reds are good. They're a first place team. You don't gift ABs to anyone.
You're right, John. You're right. You know, it doesn't necessarily have to be, the results don't necessarily need to be there, the hits and the home runs. But you have to see better quality at bats.
Jammed, and he flares this to second. Well, the Reds with the lead on the board, and sometimes a small gesture could go a long way. A lifetime fan made a souvenir, and all smiles. (4-1) Reds. 8-9-1 due up for the Rockies, starting with Ezequiel Tovar, who has flied to center. Now Burns at times has yanked that slider a bit tonight, but the stuff is still sensational. And Tovar is a talented hitter, a really good year a couple of years ago, but he has had trouble covering that fastball up. The big leagues will find a weakness, and that seems to be the hole for Tovar.
Yeah, he's a very aggressive hitter, and he does have a tendency to chase that ball up. This year has not been able to catch up to it.
And it has that finger trap feel, right? The harder you try to get out of it, the more you are caught inside of it. Fights that one off.
A couple really good sliders with 2 strikes to Tovar. You saw that one looked like to be off the plate a little bit. Still being aggressive. See if he can get a fastball to the top of the zone and get a chase.
1-2. Right back to Burns. Gobbles it up. All the way. So today is a rather special day here in the broadcast booth. Barry, we got something for you.
Uh-oh.
Happy birthday.
How about that?
Jim Day is here.
Jimmy Day, I appreciate it. But first of all, did you make this?
I did not.
I would not
Luckily
eat
for
it.
you. So there's a Cincinnati Reds style birthday song, and it goes like this. This is your birthday song. It isn't very long. Hey.
Keep Brian Hayes. No play. Happy birthday, Barry Larkin.
Thank you. I appreciate it, guys. And Jim Day, I don't.
No.
Never have I received a.
Well, lucky for you, I did not make that. Someone that knows what they're doing made that.
Well, I certainly appreciate it.
We also learned, and I think we've learned this before, but I've forgotten it. You have a birthday twin just a couple of booths down, too.
Joe Z. It is Joe Z's birthday. Tom Browning, who's no longer with us. It's his birthday as well. It is Jeff Jacobson, our second baseman at University of Michigan. Go Blue. Jim, I thought you might like that.
OH?
Yeah. It's his birthday as well.
Jim, you're getting your steps in today. You got Joe
I
Torre
am.
down to the Lexus Club. You're
From one Hall of Famer to another. In all sincerity, happy birthday.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you, Jim. Runner off.
Did you make a wish? He just blew it out. Did you
Yeah,
make a
I
wish?
was wishing for a win today. That's what was my wish.
We'll take that.
Let's do it.
Always a team guy.
Let's do it.
Captain.
Thank
Captain's
you.
wishing for a W.
Thank you, Jim.
Some good icing up there, too.
Smells good.
Yeah.
Shall we indulge at some point?
You don't have to fight me and twist my arm.
I need a couple of those. A fork. Oh boy.
Julian into center. Wave is on to third. Myers has a cannon from medium center. Throw in is cut by Stewart. Flick to first. Hag just lead. Now 4-2.
Julian is seeing the ball pretty well off Chase Burns. Hit that ball well as well. Last time up, hit the home run.
So he's got both ribbies, and the steal critical there from McCarthy to get him in. Now Moniak, who takes a big cut, strike one. He has struck out twice, but he is a dangerous hitter. Their two most dangerous power men, Moniak at the plate, Goodman on deck. Now this is the start of third time through for Burns, and this season his first 2 times through the order annihilates the opponent. Third time through the order, the numbers do spike dramatically. One. Swing and a miss. Oh, spoons. Don't worry, Joel, there's a third spoon here. Yeah, I know. Trying to play coy, looking off to the side, researching on his computer, in air quotes. You're going to get some. Don't worry. Sky to shallow left. Steer secures the second out. Ooh. Time now for a brief word from Miami Valley Gaming. Dig in, Joel.
Get ready to get lucky at MVG. With over 2,200 of the best gaming machines, we got you covered.
You were just out of frame, but he did eat it. There he is. The drone is here.
Nice.
What do you think? Good? Big thumbs up. Chop to short. De La Cruz from the outfield. Grass the short way to second. Now the Rockies get a run, but the Reds still doubling up Colorado. Baby bird feeding time.
The final.
Now the Reds a 4-2 lead against the Rockies in this series opener. It'll be the start of third time through for Kyle Freeland this inning. 9-hole hitter Ke'Bryan Hayes struck out looking. Back to a breaking ball by Freeland, one of his better breaking balls tonight. And that one not so much. He is coming off missing several weeks with a shoulder issue. That is stung by Hayes. That's the contact that had not been there early, but now hits in 5 of 6 for Ke'Bryan Hayes.
102 off the bat. This is a four-seam fastball elevated. Get that foot down in time so you can be on time. And right through that baseball.
Well, Tanner Gordon, right-hander, still up for the Rockies. They only have one left-handed reliever, by the way. Strike one on Myers, who has walked, singled, stolen a bag, and scored twice. So Freeland's on the ropes. Oh, 2. Freeland last year had a positive WAR, wins above replacement. Even though he went 5-17, he led the big leagues in losses, pitched to a nearly 5 ERA. But consider what Colorado can do to pitching. Rockies had the worst ERA in baseball last year. 0-2 up the middle. Julian Flip to Tovar. Rockies turn 2. That's where Colorado overhauled its coaching staff and its front office. The first-year pitching coach is former Reds assistant pitching coach Alon Leishman. Now, Rockies' team ERA was 5.97 last year. That was the worst in the bigs. 3 straight years they were dead last in team ERA. Last year's team ERA was the worst by any team this century. McLean nubs strike 1. Now it's early yet, but entering tonight, the Rockies ERA barely above 4. They're above league average. That's a big turnaround with a lot of similar personnel. Now that said, much like the Marlins, which is where Alon Leishman was in between Cincinnati and Colorado, he suggests pitches. It's a sequence that he gives to the catcher. It's in code. But he really frames it as a suggestion. 0-2. The way we understood how the Marlins are doing it, they're calling the pitches there. There's some latitude, of course. They're major league players. But Leishman says it's more like, I say, how about a slider here? And the catcher and pitcher can disagree, call something else.
Well, Kyle Freeland has 10 years under his belt, so I'm assuming that he is out there calling his own pitches, and certainly what Alon is sending in as suggestions. But Free has been doing this for a while.
Foul tip, strike 3. So Freeland faces the minimum while Chase Burns goes back to the bump. He's got 8 Ks and counting, trying to preserve this 2-run lead.
Oh.
Let's all play ball. Don't miss Play Ball Weekend coming up June 5th through the 7th. Encouraging youth everywhere to get out and play. Visit playball.org to register for a free event near you today. Chase Burns' first career quality start came against the Rockies. That was July of last year. First time that he struck out double-digit men in a major league game. He enters this 6th with 8 strikeouts, having yielded just 2 runs. Rockies have a different right-hander up in their pen as Rumfield fouls it away. Antonio Senzatella is now up alongside Tanner Gordon. Gordon had warmed independently earlier. Rumfield double. That was first pitch his last time. He's also struck out. Rumfield limited strikeouts fairly well at AAA last year, and then was excellent at limiting strikeouts in spring training this year. Burns closing in on 90 pitches. Full count. Burns' night began with a full count walk to Julian, the leadoff man. It's his only walk so far. Rumfield has rallied from 0-2, and he drives it to right. On a bounce, Hines. What have you seen from Burns this evening?
Well, it's been as expected. It's been the fastball slider combination. Didn't have a real good feel for that slider early in the game, but as it's progressed, you can see the chase. You're always going to see that heat. He's throwing it up in the zone, he's throwing it in. Made a couple of mistakes, only a few mistakes, but certainly performing the way we expect to see him.
Half of his strikeouts tonight have come on his fastball. It's the highest strikeout count on his heater in a game this year. There's 24 on the slider, the most in the majors. Tyler Freeman is single to left. He is grounded to short. Hayes plays on the grass at third, square to bunt, push to first. Stewart fire to second. De La Cruz, and they'll get the lead man. No chance at a double play, but run field erased.
It's plays like this that make you go, Sal Stewart he just understands. He knows good and well how hard this ball is bunted. Gets himself in great position to throw the ball to second base. Makes an outstanding feed to second base. Understanding it's going to be tough because the pitcher is covering at first. Such a young man and such a high baseball IQ and great feel for the game.
Troy Johnston drives it to right center. That's down to the gap, gathered by Myers. Spinning throw in, stop sign at third. It's a double for Troy Johnston. So now the tying runs are in scoring position with one out. Brock Burke, lefty, has been warming.
And once again, this double in the gap. If this runner's on second base, that's another run.
Remember, the Rockies are aggressive. Rumfield was down 0-2 quickly. Freeman reached on the bunt first pitch. On a fielder's choice, Johnston just doubled first pitch. Here's Kyle Karros, who was grounded out, struck out. Check swing, strike one. And he's the most patient Rocky. It's the lefty Burke getting loose. Right-hander at the plate and on deck. 0-2. Burns home. Struck him out.
Figure with runners in scoring position, Karras is going to be a little more aggressive. A really good slider down and away to get the chase.
He is tied to season high with 9 strikeouts. I have to think Ezequiel Tovar's his last hitter. First pitch miss. The left-handed McCarthy on deck. If Tovar reaches, I would think Burke comes in. 1-0. Swing and miss. And then would the Rockies pinch hit for their shortstop? Could leave them in a defensive lurch, but Jordan Beck, Brenton Doyle, right-handed options on the bench. Burns can make it a moot point if he can retire Tovar, who's a sub-200 hitter this year, rarely reaching. Lifted right side, Hines over. Burns gets out of it. He strangs him at second and third. It's a quality start for Burns.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
Third quality start this year for Chase Burns. Strike one, Ellie De La Cruz, who turns around to bat left. First man out of the Rockies pen is Tanner Gordon. Our Skyline Chili called to the bullpen.
See his numbers. Sticks out as that 675. That doesn't necessarily mean not good, but certainly a reliever coming out one bad inning. That ERA can spike in a hurry. Fastball sits about 93.5 miles an hour.
Ellie, a couple of RBI hits, couple of steals, couple of runs scored. Swings through the fastball, strike 3. Well, looks like Chase Burns indeed done. 9 strikeouts, tying a season high. Left men at second and third that last inning. Now, the Reds had Brock Burke warming, but it's now Graham Ashcraft getting ready. Missed Sal Stewart, who was popped to second and struck out. Now, Tanner Gordon does have a tie to a current Red. He hails from Illinois. His college ball mostly came at Indiana, but he was drafted by the Braves and got traded near the deadline in 2023. He was traded for Pierce Johnson. Stewart sails this to left. McCarthy's got it. 2 down. That is how Pierce Johnson became a Brave. Spencer Steer has homered tonight, a 2-run shot. He's also grounded out to second base. His home run, our StatCast 3D, powered by Google Cloud.
Really important to get on the board early. Spencer Steer back in the first inning. A big time 2-run home run.
Steer was one of the Reds who early was hitting the ball hard, didn't have a ton to show for it. He's had a pretty solid couple of weeks now.
I watch Spence hit, and then I look up at the board and I look at his numbers and I go, no way. He's such a good, solid hitter with such a good approach to hitting. I looked up there and I go, okay, I expect to see a 3 in front of that number.
Ground out here. Reds go in order. Cincinnati Reds baseball is presented by your Greater Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky Jeep dealers and by UC Health. Expect more at uchealth.com. Chase Burns got 22 whiffs today, a new career high. It's the most in a game for a Red. That means a swing with no contact. The whiff rate, the amount of swings that got air only, was over 50% against his slider. First out of the pen is Graham Ashcraft.
Look at those numbers right there. 191. Opposition opponent's batting average. Graham has just done a really nice job, and I believe we've seen him mature a little bit this year as far as how he's attacking these hitters. It's always been that cutter and the slider, but I believe he's really done a really good job of throwing it to both sides of the plate as opposed to just living on that glove side this year.
And good luck bunting Graham Ashcraft. We'll get a challenge here.
have challenge, they call a ball.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. That is a strike.
Ball is overturned.
Pretty fat strike.
The Reds have 2 challenges remaining.
Oh, flip that count to 1-2. Appeal. He did not go. McCarthy singled, stole second, and scored his last time. He's also struck out. He has great wheels. He's one of the faster men in the big leagues. 3-2. Back to Ashcraft. One down. Brief word now from Echo.
It's time to go yard. Echo, power on and on.
On top of the order, Julian's probably had the best ABs of any Rocky tonight.
Yeah, he walked his first time up, then a bomb. Base hit single hard up the middle. It's had a nice night.
He's driven in both of the Rockies' runs. Now, Julian in 2023 got Rookie of the Year votes with the Twins, and then had two pretty pedestrian years thereafter. But he's off to his best start since his rookie year. Trade acquisition in January. Check swing in the zone. So Hayes, who had been shallow, backs up at third. Ashcraft misses. Time called by Julian. Full again. Payoff. Grounded with eyes and through, base hit. Julian goes against the grain. Leadoff man has been on 4 times tonight.
This is just good hitting right here. A really good pitch from Graham. Down and away, a cutter. And Julian just stays right there and punches it through that 6-hole. The key to good hitting is maintaining your balance. Julian did a great job of that.
So now Moniak, who's 0 for 3. Foul tip strike. Rockies' lone lefty reliever, Brandon Bernardino, is now up and warming. Swing and miss. Grounded through the right side, base hit. Julian through second, Hines from right. Throws into De La Cruz, base hit, met at the corners.
Talked about these Rocky hitters being aggressive. That was a high cutter. Moniak putting the bat head on the ball.
1 out. Hunter Goodman has struck out twice. He's bounced into a force play. Grounded to De La Cruz. Tricky hop, handles well. McLean relay, double play. That bounce had some funk, and De La Cruz turned it well.
Really nice adjustment by Ellie De La Cruz on that high hop, making a good feed. 6-4-3.
Spring out.
Bottom 7, our Toyota game summary. Kyle Freeland tagged with all 4 runs. He went 5. Chase Burns, a quality start. His 3rd already on this young season. Ellie De La Cruz right at the heart of the Reds' success. Couple of hits, couple of ribbies, couple of steals. And De La Cruz's defense, he's made 2 tough plays tonight.
And I'm going to tell you, this is the reason why it's so important that you get in position to field a ground ball. This ball takes a very nasty hop, jumps up on Ellie De La Cruz. But because he's in such good defensive position, he gives himself space in order to make the adjustment. No panic. Nice feed to McClain at second base. 6-4-3 to get out of the inning.
Swing and miss. Nate Lowe, who has bounced to third. He's also foul popped to first. Asked for time. Reds have Tony Santi on warming. Trying to go by the usual formula tonight. And many times in basketball, you'll hear the turn of phrase, the big 3. I think the Reds have that emerging in their bullpen. If they grab a lead early, which they did tonight, they're baseball best 12-1 when they score first. The ideal handing of the baton, starter finds a way to go at least into, if not through 6. Ashcraft, Santillan, Pagan. That's not always possible every night. It's a good problem with winning more games in series.
We had 3 guys kind of like that at the back end of our bullpen back in the day.
Were they a little nasty?
They were a little nasty. I'm telling you, these guys are a little nasty.
Swing and a miss. 3-2. Payoff. Driven left field, base hit. He just gives you a pro AB. Liner opposite way after working another full count.
Yes, he does, John. And you know, it certainly is power what Nate Lowe brings, but it's experience and understanding. Just stays there, drives that ball the other way. Just really good hitting.
When you talk to teammates about him, another thing that they all say universally, his baseball IQ low, off the charts. And they are a sponge of information off of that guy.
Heck, he might be coming for your job, Jim Day. He could be the next host of the Jim Day podcast.
Well, he hosted his own podcast previously in Texas, so he's well spoken. Yeah, and I'll give you a little secret. He said, let me co-host a couple episodes. We're going to try to do that in the future.
Tyler Stevenson takes a strike. He has flied out twice. On deck is not Reese Hines. TJ Friedl is set to pinch hit for Hines. One in the air, shallow right. Johnston from first. Lost the ball. Late break by Lowe, and they force him out at second. I mean, you got to assume, you think a big league player gets to the spot is going to catch the ball.
Of course, there's nothing Nate Lowe can do right there. Got to make sure you get back to the bag because you figure the pitcher's going to be there behind you.
So trade Stevenson at first instead of Lowe. And now Friedl stands in to pinch hit. So Hines ends his day 0 for 2. A strikeout swinging, a jammed soft line out. Friedl's been coming on for a good week and has thrived in his pinch hitting role over the years. More of that came on the front end of his big league time.
Yeah, Friedl for a while just did not have that stroke going recently. It's the TJ Friedl we have all come to know. Trust. Trust is the word. Trust that he will give you a good quality at bat.
Takes strike one. His last 7 games hitting .348. He's 8 for 23 in that time with 4 doubles and a home run. Pops it up. Caro's the call. 2 down. So now it's up to Ke'Bryan Hayes to keep the inning going. Singled his last time. He's also struck out looking. And it's hit well right center. Moniak on the track. A fly ball out for Hayes. Reds straight him in.
Update for tonight. Caleb Ferguson, lefty reliever, trying to work his way back from an oblique issue. First rehab tonight, Double-A Chattanooga. He was actually the opener, went an inning, didn't give up a hit or a run, struck out 1, walked 1 through 14 pitches, 7 strikes. So look for him to spend at least a week with Double-A Chattanooga and then a week maybe more at Triple-A. He basically didn't have a spring training, so it's a complete reset. He told me that he would normally need at least 6 outings in a spring training to feel comfortable, to be ready. So it'll be a minute. He's going to be down doing rehab stints for a minute, but all well tonight.
Oh, thank you, Jim. He'll go again Friday. Could open, could relieve. Tony Santiana's in against TJ Rumfield.
Yeah, last time out we saw Santi. He appeared to be mortal. Gave up 3 runs, and before that had just been nails, locked down. Hopefully this outing right here will get back to being that dominant force. Had an 11-game scoreless streak going on.
The wave begins in the lower bowl. Rumfield a couple of hits tonight, both pulled. This one a jam pop. Hayes the call. Jim, what's the latest with Nick Lodolo?
Well, Lodolo on Sunday threw a ball, Dayton, 51 pitches, and he was so efficient they would hoping he would go 4. He went 5, and he actually had to go down to the bullpen to throw 10 more pitches. We'll look for him to next start be Saturday in Triple-A. They'll look to get him to 65 to 70 pitches on Saturday. They did limit the amount of sliders that he threw. That is the pitch that gives him the blister issue. So they're probably going to ease him back into that. Whether this next one is enough to reactivate him, we'll see. It in my mind, I would think he would have to throw that slider at will with no problems first, but a good sign Sunday.
Breaking ball deep right center. Myers on the run, gives ground. Spencer Steer got bumped over to right as Friedel stayed in the game and left. Steer secures the second out.
Good communication right there. That's the center fielder's ball, but Spencer Steer with the call able to avoid the collision. You can see Dane Myers tracking, and obviously he hears Spencer Steer call him off. Good communication.
So now Johnston, who has doubled, he's 1 for 3, takes a strike. Troy Johnston told his wife he was set to retire. Had come up with the Marlins, got a taste of the bigs, was ready to say see you later. And then one off season he was offered to be paid to play winter ball in the Dominican Republic, and we found his love for the game. He already had long chats with the ownership group of Double-A Pensacola, former Reds Double-A team. At that point, a Marlins Double-A team. He had played there, and they were setting him up for a non-baseball related career path. But that rediscovered love in winter ball led then to successful spring, and waiver claim he's now playing regularly for the Rockies. The wave is picking up some steam. By the way, that Lodolo start will come in Omaha. That's a tough place to pitch sometimes. Ball can jump there. Winds can gust out to center field.
And if they're limiting the amount of sliders that he throws, I mean, we take that out of his arsenal, that makes it even tougher.
Yeah, it does.
This is the most active wave we've seen this year, Lark.
Joel, did you see Joel?
Oh, he was into it. 1-2. You know when you get out of the ocean or off a boat and you still feel like you're bobbing?
Yeah.
I'm kind of feeling that right now. Just watching this wave in the ballpark.
Just sea legs.
Two. And the count goes full. Wire cam is pretty good at this. That's a cool shot. Payoff pitch. Backdoor miss. So the tying run will come to the plate. Rockies have out-hit the Reds 9-6. The Reds, though, have limited walks. It's only the second issued by Reds pitching, and the first since Julian walked to begin the game. Kyle Karros, ground out, couple of strikeouts. Key Brian Hayes guards the line at third. Grounded with eyes through the right side, base hit. Hard charge by Steer. Great charge, flicked to second. Nearly got a leaning Johnston. Denied any chance of Johnston taking third base.
Karras going right through that open hole on the right field side, and Spencer Steer looking like an infielder charging that ball. That third base coach sees that outfielder going after the ball so aggressively, he has to put on the brakes.
The very speedy Brenton Doyle, who's also a defensive dynamo, is in a run at first base. He has robbed the Reds many times, playing an exquisite center field. Ezekiel Tovar's 0 for 3. Senzatella still up in the Rockies pen. Strike one. Snaps for a strike. Johnston dances off second. That ball fought foul. You mentioned it, Lark. Santillan was stingy to begin the year. The first time that he allowed runs all season came last time out. Trying to bounce back. A couple of 2-out runners. Can he strand them both, preserve this 2-run lead? 0-2. Swing and a miss. Got to complete the putout. Stevenson says, I got it, and he does. Sanion with a K to strand a pair. The Mentalist Oz Perlman is coming to GABP Friday, May 8th to perform an interactive postgame show presented by the Ohio Suicide Prevention Foundation. Get your tickets now for a night of mind-bending entertainment at Reds.com/Oz. That's O-Z. Willie Castro comes in, straight switch for the pinch-running Doyle. He takes over at third. Dane Myers will test him. The bunt right to him. Base hit, Dane Myers. Balafanya guided by the Reds leadoff man.
Balafanya, really nice job by Dane Myers. Took a little look down at third base and kind of showed it early. Did a really nice job getting it past that pitcher. Putting the pressure on the defense right away.
Well, Myers on for Matt McLean, who was 0 for 3. 2 ground outs, a strikeout. Castro started creeping in at third as that pitch came to the plate. That's the second career bunt hit for Dane Myers. He was aboard for a third time tonight. He does have a steal. He also was nearly picked off earlier tonight. Ball was dropped by Johnston. Here's a pickoff, and he plunges back in safely.
Take a little look. I see you down there.
Yeah, talking with Dane the other day about adjusting to life with the Reds, he reflected back to the first meeting he had with Terry Francona, who said, just go play, be you. And he said he had never had that in pro ball, that liberty to just, be prepared, know what you're doing, but go play. And there's a lot of that faith that Francona shows in his players, and it does mean something.
It does. As opposed to, hey, I want you to do this. I remember TJ Friedl before and after Terry Francona. After Terry Francona, I felt TJ Friedl was a much better player as far as playing with clarity and understanding what his job was to do. And I think we saw under Tito's leadership and freedom a much more aggressive, fun-loving TJ Friedl, and I think that's the case with the entire team.
Trying to see if they can tack on here. Payoff is a take for strike 3. But Jim Day, Dane Myers has told you he's just a boring guy.
I'll often go up to new players, or new Reds players at least, and say, hey, tell me something that people might not know about you, just so I can let people get to know you. And like a couple times he's like, I'm just a boring guy. I don't try to be boring, but he has 2 young kids. He says he has to be boring. One is 2 years old, one's a couple months old. And one of them is not sleeping through the night. He says his wife, Mallory, by the way, is a hero, and many men can relate to that out there. She takes care of business. But then he said, with the kids, I just find myself watching kids shows all the time. I said, which ones? He said, Louie, SpongeBob, and then mentioned Miss Rachel, which I have no idea what that show is, but he says it's annoying and overstimulating. And he has to endure it for his daughters.
That's a good dad. 1-1 to De La Cruz, driven to left. McCarthy fading back, and that is gone! Opposite way for De La Cruz. He takes the team lead outright with 10 home runs. He has driven in 4. His clobbering of Colorado continues.
Well, how about this day? 3-hit day with the bomb. 4 ribbies, 2 outstanding defensive plays. impact of the game on both sides of the ball, playing like the all-star that he is.
So the Reds up 4. Emilio Pagan warms. Strike one on Sal Stewart, who's 0 for 3.
We still are not yet seeing him hot.
Driven by Stewart opposite. Can get hotter.
I don't think we've seen peak Elly De La Cruz yet.
And he is having a terrific year.
Yes, he is.
So he's behind Tony Perez for the most homers by a Red. Dive comes up empty. It skips to the stands, a two-bagger for Stewart. And this is where these two incredibly talented teammates. I mean, anytime one does something, the other tries to match or exceed it.
Certainly looks, if you look at the numbers and the comparisons, you certainly want to be the best player on the team. Sal Stewart has really been amazing hitting behind Elly to offer him protection by being so hot, but matching his production. And it has been fun to watch both these guys go out there. Now, they're not out there trying to be better than each other. They're out there trying to be good for this team, and they both have been.
Spencer Steer driven to center. Moniak. Stewart tags. And he takes third. Well, they've been a dynamic young duo in terms of run production. Productive out there for Steer. De La Cruz and Stewart driving them in under 25 all time. Before the month of May, they have matched what Cody Bellinger and Alex Verdugo did for the Dodgers in 2019 in terms of ribbies. Still got a few days. It's April 28th. Nate Lowe. Strike one. So the numbers are starting to matter a little bit here, Lark. You know, both Elly and Sal are north of 100 ABs. They're both hitting 290 plus in today's game.
Yeah.
With power.
Yes. And Elly has yet to get hot. You know what he's been? He's just been good. Simple as that. As a whole bunch of other guys have been on a first place team.
Low base hit opposite way as last time. Through the hole, base hit. Stewart scores. Nate continues to rake. It is 7-2 Reds.
Nate Lowe, we saw him hit the ball to left field last time up for the base hit. This time a breaking ball. Just pulling through that hole with the runner on third base in scoring position. Another run crosses the plate.
So now Pagan has stopped warming. Brock Burke is back up. Tyler Stevenson stands in. And Terry Francona's long-standing rule with his closer. In a true save situation, closer. But even up 4, not a save situation, closer. But now he's got the pad of 5, so it looks like he's going to save and shelve Pagan. And Burke, who had warmed earlier in the game while Burns was still in, is getting loose for a second time. Stevenson 0 for 3. Reached on the odd fielder's choice on the drop his last time. Pokes this to center. Later break by Moniak. It falls for a hit. And perhaps fitting for Stevenson, who has smoked so many hard outs that the end of the bat, soft contact is a knock.
Take them how they come.
Stone Leishman strolls out for a chat with T.J. Friedel about to stand in. He pinch hit and foul popped to third his last time. Get the 2026 Reds Heads Kids Club membership for Reds fans ages 3 to 12. It includes exclusive merch, free Reds tickets, and special members-only experiences at the ballpark. Available today, Reds.com/fan-clubs. Way inside. The inning began with a bunt hit by Dane Myers, testing the new third baseman Willie Castro. Friedel, one of the most capable bunt for hitmen in the game today, showed no sign of the first pitch. It takes 2-0. Friedel does damage, it's often that pitch closer to him. He can turn on a miss, middle in, and power it to right center. Foul tip. Two and two. Another nugget about Elly De La Cruz, by the way, 10 home runs, tied for the most by any major league switch hitter before May, going back to 1900. Cal Raleigh did it last year with the Mariners in the dirt. Nick Swisher with Oakland at 06. Lance Berkman did it twice with Houston, 02 and 06. Add to that list Elly De La Cruz, whose power is now even in terms of homers left and right. Runners will go. Lowe and Stevenson off, 3-2. Foul tip, strike three. The Reds add three more. Elly De La Cruz right at the heart of it. Opposite way for a two-run tater. Let's go down to Jim Day.
Thanks, John. As Brock Burke comes into the game, he is a big, imposing pitcher, in control on the mound. But one thing he's not in control of in his life is he's a sleepwalker, and a bad one at that. Now, there's plenty of funny stories from teammates falling asleep on planes and in hotels. He actually fell asleep on a commercial flight and woke up and he had spread out his season's worth of hats all over the plane, unbeknownst to him. Now, while there's plenty of tomfoolery with teammates, it's also a scary side as well, and it has to be managed. Here's Brock.
Yeah, there's no balconies for me on the road. That's one of the rules, and I've woken up on the other side of a balcony before and hanging on the balcony. So I mean, it can definitely be dangerous. Sometimes it's funny, sometimes it's not funny. So most of the time, I'd say 90% of the 90% of the time it's fine. But there's the 10% where I get a little wild and get a little crazy. I mean, I've tried to throw TVs through doors. The waking up on the balcony one freaked me out the most, I would say. Yeah. Where I woke up and thankfully I had a roommate in minor leagues, but I was like climbing back over the balcony, like 3-story balcony, and he's like, dude, what are you doing? I was like half waking up and climbing back over the balcony, and so, but that's why there's no balconies for me.
No balconies for you.
Now, he laughs about it, but that's a very scary situation. So hotels, many times on the road, there's balconies. So no balcony for him. It certainly has to be managed. Now, there is medication for this, but the side effects are bad, and he just doesn't want to take them while he's in his playing career to affect his ability to pitch. So while they laugh about it, it is scary as well.
Well, thank you, Jim, and kind thanks to Brock for sharing with us. Brock Burke is steely focused when he's on that mound, and he's proven to be a very versatile bullpen arm for Terry Francona. He's used him in many different ways.
Yeah, we've seen him in multiple different roles, but he has had big time. I think the most impressive thing has been the power that he's brought to that bullpen from the left side. We're talking about upper 90s, that power fastball. He's been impressive and really good so far this year.
Warren Schaefer will go to his bench. Jordan Beck pinch hits for Jake McCarthy. First pitch, swing and a miss. So McCarthy ends his day 1 for 3, a steal and a run scored. Softly sent over short, might have broken his bat. It's a base hit. It's only the 9th hit on the year for Beck. So man on for Julian, the leadoff man, who has 3 hits and a walk tonight. He has never in his career reached base safely 5 times in a game. He's had 4 hits in a game twice. Left on left takes strike 1. At this point, the only bench bat available for the Rockies is backup catcher and left-handed hitter Brett Sullivan. Beck not held on. 1-1. Burke lanes a strike. Just missed. ABS challenge powered by T-Mobile.
The catcher has challenged to call a ball.
Stevenson's 1-1 tonight. Can he win pizza for those in the stands? The crowd ready to burst. That's a strike. Pizza for everybody.
Red have 2 challenges remaining.
He does it for the people. Now Moniak. First pitch chip, shallow center. De La Cruz fading out. So smooth. He can go back on a ball in flight and reads it off contact incredibly well.
Super gifted, John. Just super, super gifted.
Remember when the Reds were winning all these tightrope walk games? Hasn't been the case for a bit. Yeah, they had a rally for the walk-off Friday, but they've been putting up a lot more runs of late. Runner off, pitch miss, defensive indifference as Beck takes second. Hunter Goodman is 0 for 4. A couple of strikeouts. He's also bounced into a double play. One. These Reds are in rhythm. They began the day a game and a half up on the division. No Reds team closed April with at least a share of first in 20 years. The Reds are in a pretty prime spot right now. It is a 3-2-1 Tuesday. One, two. Strike him out. The Reds take the opener. They clip Colorado 7-2. The Reds have won 8 of their last 10 and 10 of 13.
Well, it really goes back to that starting pitching. Chase Burns, another quality start. really dominant with that fastball slider combination, and the offense has been on fire. Elly De La Cruz, what a day he had. Driving in 4 runs, 3 hits with the bomb, a couple of really good defensive plays, and this team is playing some great baseball. And it's not just the stars, it's Dane Myers getting on, Spencer Steer with the big home run early in the game to put the team up 3-0. This team is playing great baseball, John. Every phase of the game is going well. Keep it up. And fans, please show up, because these guys really need you here, and they really do react when the fans come and fill the house.
There will be 2 more games on the homestand. We have more to come on this broadcast. A brief break. The Reds take down the Rockies 7-2.